Hey, what's up, everybody? The Tip Ditch Podcast back at you again. Brand new episode. As always, I'm Eduardo. And of course, with me, my partner in crime, my co-host, my compadre, my sidekick, whatever you want to call him, Brett. What's up, brother?
Hi.
We're back here, man.
Hi.
He has an alter ego. So if you guys are wondering why he changes his appearance or he's kind of like in a different costume, that's why.
Right. And that is usually happens every time I get drunk. So here I am.
Oh shit. You have wine and the beer from when we were having our meetings.
Oh yeah, we said a little hello to Modelo, and
Hello.
now
the Catalina wine mixer, baby.
Now I had to crack open the wine bottle, about my fourth one.
Wow. Are we drinking that? Are we still drinking that Snoop Dogg wine bottle, the one that Scott gifted you?
No, I bought that.
You bought that. Oh, you bought that.
Scott got me the glass.
Oh, the glass. That's where I got confused.
Props
My bad.
to Scott for the glass. I'm still rocking it, and may be a compliment to you, Scott. But today Eddie said I look like you. So
I was trying to be confused. Like, shit, Scott's here
with an additional 150 pounds. I'm a big boy.
Hey man, no, it's that quarantine husk. It's all good.
Yeah,
but speaking of that, man, I mean, dude, I don't know if I've told you. Just maybe start off this right on a positive note. I actually started going back and working out and trying to shred some of this weight off, man, because I'll keep it real. Like literally when everything started closing down, they started putting restrictions. I low-key just said, fuck it. I'm going to just stay here, just chill and not really be active. Right.
Right.
I could have gone outside and ran, but I don't really like running anymore on the outside. I mean, it used to before it was cool, but since this lovely freaking weather we have out here, with raining 1 hour, it snows the next, then it's winds, and then it's just mixed.
You're just asking for trouble. Yeah. I was hearing you earlier because I kept coughing, and
oh, dude, I know. I was like, dude, you need to like back away from me. I was like literally about to just pop you one in the mouth and knock you out, so you wouldn't have to like breathe all that freaking COVID.
I could tell how nervous you were, and so then I'm just like, oh man, can I just fart instead? But I just kept coughing.
Oh yeah, I think it was that window though. You did have it pretty wide open, and that cold air was kind of hitting us, and I think that's what it was. But I mean, at least we had hope, right?
Well, and I do have COVID, but besides that, I've just like you getting back into the the exercise and all that. Ever since I've got this watch that my wife got me.
It's the one talking.
Yeah, that's hey, I'll be slurring in like 10 minutes. Trust me. And after that, I'll say some shit that'll get me canceled.
Canceled.
But anyway, so yeah, I love this watch, this Apple Watch. I'm hiding it because I don't want to get robbed because I live in downtown Marysville.
The ghetto. No, just play.
Whoa. Canceled. We'll have an episode where we just we teeter on the line of being canceled.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, same with you. Like the staying fit, that's I've been trying to do like every night, just getting my exercise in, and it's really good. And what I like about the watch is it sort of keeps me more consistent.
For sure.
And to the point that where my wife was like, I was wearing one of my sweaters the other day, and she's like, man, your gut doesn't protrude like it usually does. So it's working.
Yeah, that's good, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, it's one thing we need to really, remind ourselves. I mean, especially for me, like it's always one of those things where I want to just stay in shape. You know what I'm saying? If I do lose weight, which is like the goal right now, of course, to shed off that extra weight that I gained from quarantine, but just to stay fit and be healthy and be on the health tip. So that's kind of where, my mindset's at right now, and that's kind of what I've been doing this past week, which is going pretty good. First couple of days were kind of a fucking a pain because it's just like you're just trying to get back into it.
It always is.
And after that, I think day 4 or 5 you're a-okay, and you're just it's time to just keep it consistent, keep going. So
what are you going to a gym, or what are you doing?
Yes, thankfully they opened free promo, I guess, Planet Fitness down the street, and obviously you have to check before you go in to make sure that it's a-okay for you to go. So they have like a little crowd meter, and it's all online. So this is what's crazy now. So
Huh.
you can actually go on the app and check and see if the gym that you're going to go to is at its maximum capacity. So before you go
Oh
there, you have
wow.
like a little meter reading saying, hey, we're at this capacity, but you can still come. But I think once it pushes that threshold, you can't go until like it goes back down. So
Man.
yeah, man, that's where I'm going now. I just go out there and go run, get my jog on and get my sweat on, and then come back home and just do it all over again the
Yeah.
next day.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
I
bro.
yeah, that I should go back to the gym. I pay the bill every month, and I think it's been
Uh,
about a year since I've actually stepped foot inside the door.
yeah,
So yeah, I should actually pay them a visit.
yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, man, you're helping. I mean, is it if it's the one that I think about? It's like I think it's considered like one of those that I think anybody can own. And it's like franchise, but you can own one, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a franchise, the one I
Okay,
go to.
okay. I mean, yeah, you're contributing, right, to keeping their light bill on, or the light
Hey
on, right?
man, anything I can do, whether it's like continuing to stay fat or just, give them money and not go.
It's like you just go to
It's
there to take
helping you.
showers. That's it.
That's what I'm. Oh, on the real, like I think they kicked someone out because I always saw this RV on the outside of that gym, and I'm like, oh, they're just paying like $10 a month. I don't know what I know that I'm on some sort of a group plan, so I like pay a set fee every month, and then I have access to like 50 different gyms. So
Yeah.
whichever wherever I'm creeping while I'm sleeping. But anyway, so this gym, like it always had this RV in front of it. And then I don't know. I think it was when COVID started that I didn't see the RV there anymore. So maybe they closed it. But I think that they only used that gym to work out. They get their workout in and take a shower. And I was actually pretty jealous of that guy because I'm like, man, that guy just he figured it out. He figured
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Free showers. It's not free, right? You're paying
You're paying
ten
for it. I
dollars a
mean, yeah,
month.
you're paying for it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And bathroom, shave, I mean the whole thing. And he could do it. It's 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm telling you, people are getting what do you call that? Resourceful.
Resourceful.
People are, yeah, they're figuring it out. They're
Eh,
figuring out that you don't need to pay, $3,000 a month just to pay, just to live in a home.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Now we're going down that trail in a sense of like, being more resourceful. Uh, and I don't knock it, by the way. I don't have a problem with that. Hey, man,
Mm-mm.
power to you. If you figured that out, that's cool, man. You're saving money. That's good, right? But also just how people are condensing and just going down in size on like homes too. Like, uh, this is how crazy the interwebs are, right? I looked up one video about like a tiny home just because I wanted to see like what the whole deal about it was because it's like a wave now, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Like ones that
has
you can
been.
relocate and like actually take with
Oh
you and
yeah,
then park
okay.
wherever, right?
Sure.
And dude, some of those tiny homes they look pretty ballin'. I'm like, holy shit, you can build one for like 50K. I'm
Dude,
like, dude, that's
that
insane.
honest to God, that was one of my business aspirations when I was younger is when I saw these tiny homes. It was something that I've always been drawn to. I've always loved the fact that it's sort of like I think I have this natural what do you call it? Like this hippie, this but it's called something nomad. I have this
Nomad.
nomad in me that just I want to travel with as least as possible. So I'll notice like when I'm in my home and I'm starting to accumulate garbage, junk,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because Americans are so weird that we'll accumulate so much junk that then we'll decide, well, we need to put it in storage now because we have all this junk that we don't know what to do with, and what is the point, right? And so I've
Yeah.
always seen those people that those minimalist, I think they call them, that live in these tiny homes. I've always been very envious, and not envious in that way, but very I admire that minimalist approach where you basically tell the world, this is what I need. I need this laptop. I need this space to cook with, to bathe in, to sleep, to rest, to be entertained, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of these people, like van life, I've seen these YouTubes with these people that have modified their vans to where they
Oh
can
yeah.
live in them, and then they travel. And even this home that I bought here, there was an Amazon package that got delivered here to the previous owner, or to the someone who was associated with the previous owner. And he said that he just got back from Taiwan, and that's his whole thing, is he'll come to the States long enough to make enough money to take him to the next country where he'll stay for another few months,
Mm,
until his visa expires, essentially.
yeah.
And he's just, he doesn't have anything. He has nothing. There's nothing to his name. He just likes to travel. And I'm just thinking, those types of people I've just always been so fascinated by.
Yeah. Because they literally just go with whatever, they go with the things they actually need, and that they're fine with that. And it's a challenge, man. It really is. Cause like I said, we're so comfortable with like, I need to have this, I need to have that. So it just becomes you're so accustomed to that lifestyle, I guess you could say, or just that way of being, where I wouldn't even mind like being that minimalistic to where you really don't need all these other things, all these extra
Yep.
stuff that you don't really just have no use for. So I applaud those people, man. So shout outs to all the people living in tiny homes, and shout out to the people living in their vans and living life
Shout out to them if they want to,
if they want
but
to.
but
If it's not a if it's one of those last things where it's that's all you have, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Well, well,
I don't
and
know what to do with my hands.
yeah, I don't know what to do with my hands. No, I mean, and that's, I see like areas in San Francisco, where the rent and the home prices have just skyrocketed,
It's getting
and
crazy,
it
man.
forced a lot of people just moved out of state, said I can't
Yeah.
handle this, and but then I don't know why, but there's just all those homeless people. And I don't know if those are people who had once lived in San Francisco and then ended up homeless, or if they are, imports where they were living in one area, and then maybe San Francisco has some sort of a plan to help the homeless, or whatever. Maybe it's just the weather. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? But maybe they are from outside of San Francisco and then found themselves living there. So, I mean, and I drive through Seattle every day, and it's amazing. I see these pallets, pallet homes, basically, these people that just use pallets. And it's crazy when you're just like, that's a tiny home and then some, right?
Yeah. I mean,
They're
it's
taking it to
not
that next
right if
level. That's
yeah,
like
it's
full-time
not
camping.
it's not right if you see a tent on the side next to you on the freeway when you're about to hit I-5. I'll tell you that. It's not supposed to be there.
It's weird that it's gone to that. It is so funny, because not funny, but I told my wife, and when I was in the Philippines in 2013, and I've probably said this a million times on the show, but I've I looked around, and pr- I looked at private guards. There were private guards at the front of every store. Um, there were bomb inspectors, where before you could even go into the mall, they would stick a mirror underneath your vehicle, if you had like a high occupancy vehicle.
Yeah.
They would look underneath your car. And there was just so many things, like the streets were not in tip top shape, just a lot of different things. And I told my wife, or she was fiance at the time, I said, I feel like America is actually going down this road. And, her having never been to America, she didn't know what I was talking about. And I kid you not, I mean, that was in 2013. We're in 2021. You could go downtown Seattle, and I could show you almost you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, other than one's written in English and one's written in Cebuano.
Sigwa.
So that's their dialect down there.
There we go.
But it's just like, America is falling apart, and I don't see any plan to repair it. And of course, I've said it a million times. I think that America is waning on its influence, but people that aren't drawn and caught up in all that, That's where I think they make the best of it. They like your tiny homes. Like I said, dude, you got to keep the dream alive. You got to keep that dream alive no matter what. And you can be, I mean, and here it is. Like I'm talking about all that. But if I gave, like, if we gave my wife a choice, if she said, hey, if you can take your husband with you anywhere in the world, where would you be? She would say the Philippines. So it doesn't matter, that there's all, it's like it's on at a third world status.
Yeah.
To her, it's just there's freedom. The people are happy. That's what she wants.
Yeah.
So money isn't everything, and I think
True that, man.
Americans forget
Amen, brother.
about that a lot.
Yeah, but we like money. Don't get us wrong. We like money. So you want to throw
I
us a fatty
love
contract
it.
with the numbers are right? We'll talk.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah. Isn't that Ice Cube? Was that Ice Cube?
Yeah, it's Ice Cube.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure.
No, it's not Ice Cube.
It's
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Oh yes, P. Diddy. Puff Daddy.
Ice Cube would slap you in the lip if he heard you ask that.
Oh, dude, he'd fucking just throw me one right in the kisser, dude.
Ice Cube, it's okay. Go ahead. You can do it. Put your back into it. You can do it. Put your back into it.
But dude, I mean, what's in the agenda, bro? I know there's quite a bit to talk about. Okay, so for one, I mean, we can go multiple ways with this, right? Because of course this is our show. The Capitol. I mean, let's just hear it. Let's hear it, Brett. I mean, catastrophe.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, only because we live in this world where we are so reactive with everything. And what we don't realize is that when we're reactive, when it comes to people's lives, that's where we find ourselves in a lot of trouble. And some of this stuff can be trouble for the long run. And so what I want to talk about is the media. If you watch the media, mainstream media, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, all that stuff, pretty much all of them were talking about how there was that the right wing Trump supporters that were in the Capitol, it was all MAGA supporters, it was all Donald Trump supporters, and they were there to basically take over the government. And that was the whole narrative. That was the fear that was being stoked and spread by the mainstream media, and even within the House. When they're voting for the National Guard to come in, or they're voting for, I guess there's a new bill now that where if you want to come into DC, you have to register your weapon and ammo and get all that stuff, right? I mean, there was so much fear, but they pinned it directly on the Trump supporter with no deviation, and it was all Trump. It was all Trump supporters. So today, we're starting to see people getting arrested, right? They said, we are going to use the FBI. We're going to do extensive research, and we are going to hit them with the long arm of the law. We're going to hit them with full force. And anybody who was there, anybody who was in the Capitol, basically your life is ruined. So I want to talk about one person that did get arrested and wasn't a Trump supporter at all. In fact, very anti-Trump. And his name is John Sullivan. He was on CNN recently with Anderson Cooper, and he's a 26-year-old left-wing activist, and he's from Utah. But I want to talk about, he has a very interesting story, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Brief history is that he was raised in a military family, right? He's African-American, by the way, and I think he was adopted. I think his dad, who is a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel, adopted him, and the household was conservative, devout, what do you call that? Mormon, devout Mormon.
Okay.
And so John Sullivan in 2018, in the Olympic Games, he was a speed skater, and he placed, I think, 20th out of 500. So he didn't make the team, but he was showing promise.
Yeah.
He came from a background of wealth, and he was a salesman for a while, earning around $200,000 a year, which allowed him to buy a Mercedes-Benz in cash, and he was in the middle of building his own home. But then something happened where he became radicalized and suddenly decided capitalism was a cancer. In June of 2020, he went to his first BLM event, and Lex Scott, who is the founder of the Utah chapter of the group, said that no one had heard of him or seen him or knew who he was. So Sullivan then founded his own group, which is called Insurgents USA, in response to the killing of George Floyd. The first protest he held, someone got shot where protesters blocked an SUV. When the driver tried to turn around, a protester shot the driver, hitting them in the arm. And then so Sullivan was arrested for the incident. And in the charging documents, they said that he was with the shooter most of the day, but did nothing to stop the act. He was charged with rioting, making a threat of violence, and criminal mischief. But obviously nothing came of it. Soon after that, he decided to have a personal protest at the Utah Capitol. So he dressed himself in black with a rifle across his chest, and then a counter protest took place with when a Utah militia showed up. So after that, soon after, he did his next protest, where in the eyes of BLM and Lex Scott, he committed the ultimate sin, the unforgivable sin, by inviting Proud Boys and militias to the stage where he said he wanted to work together with them and be friends. He was instantly blackballed by the BLM movement and probably relentlessly mocked by the Proud Boys as well. And as you can see at this point, he's essentially unassociated and unaccepted by everyone. So he's kind of just out there, right? And then even a left-wing activist from Washington State, Hala, shared on Twitter how carelessly Sullivan was when it came to details of planned actions after police were found waiting on the group, and people were either arrested and or their identities were compromised. That was enough to make people feel he was either clout chasing, to our older audience, that is seeking attention, or he was working with someone else and had infiltrated the group. So they were thinking, okay, he's not one of us. He's either completely reckless or he's working on the other side. He's working with somebody. So that's all the background. So how did he end up at the DC protest? Well, there are some claims that he was an agent provocateur. And do you know what an agent provocateur is?
Someone there to kind of like pretty much instigate a little bit to get things kind of riled up, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, the definition in out of the dictionary was one employed to associate with suspected persons and by pretending sympathy with their aims to incite them to some incriminating action, aka insurrection. So he went there to DC, and he claims that no, he was not an agent provocateur. He said he doesn't support Donald Trump, nor does he support Joe Biden, and isn't affiliated with BLM or Antifa. So where is he standing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's like the odd man out, like just completely in a gray area.
Right.
To me, right. That's what it sounds to me.
So he claims that he was only there to document the events and be a part of history. So that makes sense, right? So he wants to be a citizen journalist. That would make sense if you're not associated with everything. It would all make sense, except for the fact that on video, you can hear him shouting, "Let's go. This shit is ours. We accomplished this shit. We did this together. Let's burn this shit down." That's where being a citizen journalist sort of goes out the window. He is also seen climbing through a broken window where he confronts law enforcement and tells them to go home. He entered an office and allegedly broke a window overlooking the plaza. Again, hard to justify his claim of being there to document history. So the reason why we know him and the reason why we're talking about him is he was the one that was videotaping the incident where they were in the protesters were in the speaker's lobby, and they were barricaded by the doors. The doors were barricaded, and the unarmed protester Ashley Babbitt was seen trying to climb through a broken window before she was shot in the neck by a police officer. So that was him, John Sullivan, that captured that video. So, are you ready for this to get extra dicey, and are you ready for a plot twist?
Yeah, let's hear it. I mean, now we know how the video was captured of homegirl getting shot in the neck. Yeah, let's hear it.
So the leftist ideological John Sullivan has a brother whose name is James, who aligns with the Patriot movement and launched his own civilized awakening and is pro-Trump. James says his brother John is indoctrinated by a radical socialist ideology, and going to jail will be the only way to stop him, and that his brother is devoid of logic. So now you've got the brother in there that's the complete other side of things.
Yeah.
And it's brother against brother. And I read this article. This comes out of the sltrib.com. That is the Salt Lake Tribune.com. And so basically out of this event in DC, he was arrested in his home at Utah, and he was charged. These are all federal charges. Charged with civil disorder, violent entry or disorderly conduct, and entering a restricted building or grounds. But the thing is, so he's been released now. He's been released. Didn't have to worry about bail or anything. But he is on house arrest. But my theory is that because we work in narratives, and because he doesn't fit the narrative of a Trump supporter, Trump voter, I think this young man is going to walk away and be able to basically incite more riots in the future. He's been involved in a number, like every time he's going to these protests or he's starting his own protest, his own movement on his own website, he's selling his own merch. He's trying to get rich that way. I mean, and for someone who despises capitalism, he sure is using capitalism to his advantage. Yeah, for sure. And funny. He is shamelessly promoting himself. He's on, CNN. He's on. He has all these types of. His press kit is ready to go. He's definitely wants to be out there talking to people. The problem is he does not seem like he has his ducks in a row. He doesn't seem like he really fits anywhere, and it doesn't seem like he really knows what he wants. So
yeah, it seems like it's me.
If anything, he just seems like an anarchist who just thrives in violence.
In another way, he's pretty much hustling to an extreme level, but that extreme level is like, well, you're saying one thing, but you're doing the other. And you're against capitalism, but you're using it to your advantage.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's just it's confusion like none of the other, man.
Nihilistic, that's for sure. It's like, all he wants is chaos. And so, here it is. We're in this middle of the thing. And here he was part of the people egging people on. And and knowing full well that he wasn't going to get slapped with any type of label by the media. He's free and clear, and he fights for the other side. And so now, a lot of people who voted for Trump, now they have to live with this stigma that, they're being seen as insurrectionist, which is funny and ironic because, normally the people on that side of the political spectrum are seen as the pro-American, pro-police, pro-military, but now you've got 25,000 armed National Guardsmen who have been given the orders to use lethal force if necessary. On that crowd. We live in crazy times. This is crazy times. I don't understand it. I can't make sense of any of it other than I feel like something has happened on the inside. Someone switched sides on the top. I don't know. It's weird.
It's wild. I'll tell you that. Like I said, I'm the tongue twister. My bad. We recapped this on the previous episode. We should go check that out. It's up on YouTube and all major streaming platforms. But it's crazy because when that was happening, I had no clue on the level that this got to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
5 people have died, and I think one of them I actually read and heard on a different podcast that one of the officers that let them in got stomped out, and then he died.
Oh wow.
And he was pro Trump, and to think that, like, he went out like that.
Well, but again with this character like John Sullivan, how many
Yeah,
John Sullivan? He was not there alone.
yeah,
He's just the one that's been identified by the FBI and the media, and the media has decided, okay, we're going to put him out there. But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that hate police that were in that crowd that were not Trump supporters. It was they disguised themselves. This guy, John Sullivan, he had a Trump hat. He was trying to blend in. He was trying to fit in. So who killed this guy? That's the thing. That's the narrative that the media is running with, is that, oh, it was a Trump supporter killed a Trump supporting cop, and whatever. We have to wait for the evidence, and that's what I'm talking about with this whole reactionary thing that this media does, where, okay, be careful, because we know that all summer long all we heard is cops are pigs, pigs and bacon, a cab. I mean, we heard it all, right? And we heard also throughout the whole summer the counter protesters, the Proud Boys, the militias, all the other people on the other side telling cops, hey, if you need more help, we're here to help. We're here to help. So to think that a pro-Trump guy protester would kill a cop, it doesn't fit the narrative. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it does not fit the narrative. That's why I think that it's best that we take a step back, we find the facts, and we try to identify all of those persons. So Trump protester or not, whoever killed that cop needs to deal with the law in its strictest form. If it's life in prison, it's life in prison. If it's a death penalty, it's a death penalty. I'm all for justice. I want justice. If I don't want I don't want my friends who are cops to have to get killed, and then just because it's some protest and some political scheme and someone on the left stomps him out, it's suddenly okay. But that's the game. That's the game we're playing.
Yeah, I think I kind of heard something like that, similar to where I think it was at a protest at the height of just what is it, when George Floyd and all that stuff where it was happening. There was some individuals there that were just like starting some chaos on purpose, like like the mysterious bricks that were kind of the mysterious bricks that all of a sudden just appeared on the fucking side of the streets. And there was people like on Twitter releasing these videos like, yo, how is it ironic, or how is it kind of like weird that all of a sudden these bricks showed up and there's no construction around us, but they just magically showed up. So I'm just saying, man, all this type of shit really invites for other stuff to happen, and people take advantage of it. And that's just the name of the game for me, because like I said, like, I'm all for peaceful protests and all that, but with that comes with just the BS too, with people that take advantage of that event and they try to do something stupid. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you're shit unfolded to its maximum, level of just things going down at the Capitol. I mean, like I said, I didn't even think that was going to go down. But once we knew that 5 people had died from this, I'm like, damn, that's wild. That's like, damn, I just couldn't believe it. But
I can't either. I mean, and I do want to know more about the killing of Ashley Babbitt. I mean, you could see that she wasn't armed, and so whether you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be or not, police have been given do not kill, do not shoot to kill orders all the time. They were giving them all summer. That's why these protests, as crazy as they were, and I mean, I know I was upset sometimes because I'm like thinking about all these businesses that just have continued to get burned down and looted, sometimes more than twice, and the city officials are just letting it go. I'm going, I wouldn't even open a business in this city ever again if this happened to me and my city bailed out on me like that. I
Yeah.
would go somewhere where they're business friendly, where they care about me, and then I would sue the shit out of the city that wouldn't protect me with the police. But I don't know, but I want to know about Ashley Babbitt. I want to know, why was it so quick? Because we knew that these protesters, they had, and there were Trump supporters. Certainly, don't take this as me defending the Trump supporters that were breaking the windows. They got duped. They got tricked. But there were a lot of people in that crowd that were telling people, back off, don't do this, don't do this. This isn't us. This isn't us. And there were people trying to call out Antifa. There were people that recognized people in Antifa, and they were saying, Antifa's here, Antifa, don't. And so there was a lot of mayhem. And it just, I think at the end of the day, and the weird thing about the FBI, this is where my own conspiracy, and that I could never prove, but I'll tell the world, is I think the CIA absolutely it has a hand in Antifa. Because you talk about those bricks. I saw those bricks. I saw them getting placed.
Yeah.
And I think that it was Antifa. And I think that the CIA is part of Antifa. I think they're either giving them money or they're giving them resources. They're letting them in. They're letting them do things. But I haven't trusted the CIA since JFK.
That JFK shit was wild though too, man. I mean, that when you put me on that to look into it, I think I called you a couple times during midday when I was doing kind of my research. I'm like, this shit is crazy.
Oh
Tell you
yeah.
that,
I mean,
man.
and
We'll have to
you
do
have,
something about that, like on an future episode, talk about that, all the conspiracies, all the weird shit that happened from the time where he got shot to where his body was transferred, and then all of a sudden the coffins are just magically different. He like got it's just crazy shit. But we'll definitely have
yeah.
to talk about that in a future episode.
But with the Antifa, we would continue to see Antifa getting arrested throughout this whole summer. And every time, most of the times, these Antifa people, they would go to court. And even if it was like, they like, one guy was a professor at a school, and he had locks. He put a bunch of locks in the socks, and he hit this reporter. His name is
Damn.
Andy No. And if people want to know more about him, go to his page. I think at least YouTube. You can Google his story and YouTube his story, and it's just crazy. But I mean, this professor basically got nothing. Whereas if I would have hit somebody, if I stuffed a bunch of locks in the socks and I hit somebody in the head and gave him, brain damage, concussion, whatever, you can know that I'm going to lose his house. I'm going to lose everything that I've ever worked for, and my life is over. But if you're Antifa, for some reason, law enforcement, they seem to like, there's this perception that they're being protected. So I feel like, and we've seen our CIA go to other countries and overthrow governments. And like, that's how Taliban started. Taliban started when we were trying to fight the Soviets, and we gave bin Laden a bunch of money and said, hey, fight for us, whatever. And then 20 years later, they throw airplanes in our towers. All of a sudden, they're the enemy. But we funded them. We trained them this whole entire time. And but it's and this Antifa group, they're very organized, and the FBI refuses to call them domestic terrorists. I mean, look how quick they wanted to. They're talking about this domestic terrorism with Trump supporters, with conservative voters. They're talking about that every day, right? But what do? They go to Washington D.C. and a protest erupts. But how many times does that happen? And so one time they're all of a sudden labeled by the FBI, but Antifa has been at this the whole time, and they're essentially being protected or shielded or whatever it is. It's crazy. I mean, it's like, we're all seeing this with our eyes, and we're all, but nobody seems to be blaming the right person, because it keeps happening. And So I don't know. That's CIA is who I'm putting it on. So if the brake lines in my car go out,
The brake lights, they just, you can't stop going freaking, what is it, 60 and 95, you're trying to take a left turn but you just keep going straight, boom,
yeah.
done.
Ooh, wow. No more bread on the podcast.
Yeah.
CIA.
No, but overall, man, I mean, do you think some shit's gonna pop off the day of inauguration? Because I mean, like you said,
No,
they got
not at all.
troops ready to go. Like
Yeah,
anybody steps over that line, chitty chitty bang bang.
they're just trying to scare people, you know. They're
Yeah,
trying to scare people of the Trump supporter, the conservative Trump supporter, which is largely white. You know, what are you trying to do? Scare your country into
yeah,
thinking that white people are a threat? They don't care. You know, all they were asking for was an honest election, and they wanted a forensic audit of these machines. There were all these weird things that went on during the election, and they just wanted answers. That's all they wanted. And, you know, I mean, but like you said, the explosives and the guns and the stuff, they found all that. Like, and there were some really bad people in this crowd. I'm not, again, I'm not defending this whole crowd. I'm defending about 90% of them. But the and probably even more than that. But the bad actors in this crowd, like, you know, the ones that the FBI are gonna find and arrest and charge and hopefully convict stiffly. You know, we want those people out. We want those people off the streets and out of our communities, because they're not doing anything. They're not doing us any good. We don't need, you know, like I'm thinking of this one guy. He had this Camp Auschwitz
oh
shirt,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and on the back of it, it supposedly said staff, and I'm like, oh my god, that is insane.
that is it's fucking wild, dude. People
It's
rocking that shit, man.
Yeah, openly. I mean, oh my god, you know, I mean, that's like, it's the worst. It's the worst. And there's just, you know, and I wouldn't say that he needs to be locked up for wearing that shirt. You know, again, I'm a freedom of speech guy. That's why I have went into these alternative social medias and I've been checking them out. I love freedom of speech. I love the fact that people can say whatever they want to say, and we get it. Like, you know, it's up to you. If you want to believe some stupid stuff, that's on you. You want to come off and you want to be the most racist, vile human being, that's on you. That's you. You're the one that has to wake up that way every
Mm,
day. You know, I don't care what color you are. If you want to be racist, you want to be vile, you are the one that has to wake up with those thoughts in
yeah.
your heart, and you have to live with that.
I think for me, when I see that shit like just fully out there, and I know that you roll that way in a sense of like, you know, being a racist in general, that's all I need to know. Like, okay, you stay away from that person. That's it. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
We
I know what it
when
is. So
Yep.
keep it
When
pushing.
I lived in Lewiston, Idaho, there was a problem with all the natives on the, you know, on the within the that had that lived in the tribe out there. And apparently I know, because I didn't grow up. I grew up. I lived in Lewiston for like 7 years, and all of a sudden I'm surrounded by a group of Indians, and I'm like, what's going on right now? And so the bouncers, they saved me from getting, you know, beat up by a gang of Indians. But
Wow.
it was crazy. It was crazy because I didn't know what had happened. I really, like, I didn't even interact with anybody. It just happened. It was just all of a sudden I was surrounded, and it was a racial thing where all of a sudden I'm like, you know, if you would have just given me a second to show you my ancestry DNA, I could have showed you that we're, you know, we go back. You know,
It's a small percentage, but still, I'm one of you, somewhat, right?
yeah, I mean, hey, you know, Nishka, my second great grandmother was born on the Nass River up in British Columbia, Canada. So booyah,
There you go.
you know.
So share the people, like, just so they know a little bit like of your ancestry. Like, so you're what percent?
I'm only 4%.
4%. Hey man, even number four. It's all good.
Yeah, man. You know, I want some of those that Canadian money.
That's
No,
crazy. I think I remember you told me. I'm like, really? You are? I just thought you were messing with me at first, but you really are.
yeah, I've okay. So you know how you can like Google your name.
Yes.
So after we got on 90 Day Fiance, I go on Google, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what is where this is going to take me, right? So I Google my
Yeah.
name, and one of the top 5 questions was, what ethnicity is Brett from 90 Day Fiance?
What does it say?
Well, I didn't click on it, because I knew what I
Oh man, come
was.
on. We need to find that out. Let's find that out now.
Oh,
Let's do
yeah,
that now.
yeah. Let's try that.
While we're doing
It
this
has to be
live
on
for the
Google.
people,
Has to be
okay,
on
on Google.
Google.
Okay, so let's bear with me. Bear with me. So here in the interwebs, as your boy is pulling up now,
Just
we're gonna search
type in Brett Otto. Let's see.
Brett Otto ethnicity.
You can try it, but it was like I just typed in my name, but it's not saying it. It's not showing up anymore right now. It's showing up a weird, like they want to know. It says Brett Otto 90 Day Fiance, Brett Otto and Dia de Arce Otto, Brett Otto Instagram, Brett Otto mom, Brett Otto job, Brett Otto ex-wife, Brett Otto rap, Brett Otto blog, Brett Otto Washington, Brett Otto Facebook. But let's just okay. So ethnicity, because I did see that one time. Let's see where that takes me.
Nothing on my end. I just see the same things you said.
It takes
God,
me
I
to
look
my
so
blog
pale.
from 7/3 of 2018.
Yeah, which is still active, right? They can check you out too on that, right? The K1 experience is still active.
Yeah, it's still active, but
Yeah.
I've been sort of mulling it over, as to sort of discontinuing, just because I really haven't been staying active with it.
For sure.
So
yeah, no, but that's crazy. That's one of the most you could say searched, right? Searched questions.
yeah, what does it matter? Didn't Michael Jackson, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Hey, I just want to shout out real quick, Eddie, my boy Eddie. Today he was at the
The White House.
crib, and I don't know if this video, I don't know if I can really just like pop out my gun like I just did earlier before we were recording. But let's just, I don't want us to get us in any of that trouble, but let's just say pretending to hold a gun. I don't live the thug life anymore. I live the mug life.
Hell
In
yeah.
a Tupac in the Red Wings jersey.
Hell yeah. That's my new style.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm telling you, I got my my cup from my glass from Scott. I've got my coffee cup from Eduardo, and I tell you, dude, when I show up at the convenience store and I fill my coffee cup with this glass,
oh, dude,
pretty amazeballs,
dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you liked it, bro. It's one of those things where we always joke, and it holds, it resembles kind of what we talk about, and just the humor, that we apply, just whatever it is that we talk about and resemble, so that right there is one of the resemblance where like you just don't give a fuck. And you're just being open. And that's the mug life.
That's true. I've been known to not give too many of them.
Well, I've started a Patreon, man, because I feel like you said, there's some things that obviously, it's all about humor too. And I think I want to make this clear. At the end of the day, we come on here to really just talk and have, a good time and just share kind of what we talk about, like even on off air type deal, we'll have these conversations and we'll talk about the real shit. But at the same time, we try to, bring humor to it, because in the day, it's like, we hear about a lot of this stuff, the news, whether it's, you're driving home from work or school or whatever, and then you pop open the what is it, the radio, and it's talking about all the shit that's going on. We want to be the guys that just, we talk about it, but we have a good laugh about it. Not saying that it's funny or nothing like that, but we try to bring humor to it.
We
obviously,
just want
it's like universal
pill.
laughter. That's what we want to bring together. Universal laughter, right? So,
we just want to sugarcoat the pill. The pill. Hey, we all have to take it. It's a bitter pill, but let Eddie and I sprinkle our juices on it, our our entertainment juices on your pill, so it's more easily digestible.
Yeah, legal juice, like apple juice, orange juice, whatever it may have you.
Well, I was like sugarcoat, just like our sugar juice.
But yeah, man, I'm glad you liked it, man.
I'm
glad you liked it, and yeah, bro.
Enjoy. Yeah. So I know that we're coming to the end here, and but I did not tell you this when you were here. But
Okay, let's hear
last
it.
week, last week, my wife said that she saw a UFO. So then the other day, like maybe 3 days ago, she said,
Okay.
"Hurry up, get out here right now, come hurry down." So I'm running down, I'm running downstairs, like, what's going on? Or no, I text her back. I'm like, do I need my gun?
You're probably like all eager and ready to be loaded in. Like, oh, I'm gonna use it today. I get
Yeah,
to
if it's
use
an
it today.
emergency,
Let's
she's
go,
obviously
baby.
gonna text me, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but no, so I get down there and she's like, look, and I look up at the sky and there's nothing. And she goes, it just went and moved. Like, this is her second time where she's claimed that she's seen this UFO. I didn't see anything. I
Really?
looked and I stayed out there and I was looking. I'm like, what are you looking at? And she goes, no, it just went over the clouds. It just moved. She's like, you can't hear it and it just moves too quick. So she really thinks that she's seeing UFOs right now.
Dude, I honestly, we hope we have a session with Dion here so she can recount it, and I just kind of want to hear it from her to
Yeah.
see like, and even talk about just a little bit about it, just because of the history behind it here, especially like in the United States, with Roswell and all that, just to kind of get her opinion on it. I think that would be a dope conversation, and just kind of line that up with what she saw, and talk about just how it's being more open now. How it's like, they're talking about releasing all the files about just everything that's happened UFO related. So that's crazy though. You didn't tell me that part. I know you told me about how she was driving home from work, she saw something,
Yeah.
and she said she really believes it was something just not
And what's
normal,
weird is, like,
not an airplane.
we live next to an airport, so I'm
True.
just
Yeah,
thinking,
that is true. That is very
it
true.
has to be seeing an airplane. She has to be seeing
Yeah.
maybe in a helicopter. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so I mean, until I see this thing myself, it's like I have a hard time really just like I'm skeptical.
For sure. For sure.
Um, what did you have anything else? Because I want to nail something else too.
No, I mean, dude, go ahead by all means. I mean, all I know, just what is it? This I could just recapping on the presidential election, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I never thought it'd get like, I honestly feel this whole time, and I don't think I've ever like said this to you. I felt like I was watching a whole fucking reality show, and then we're just coming to an end of a season. I don't know
I,
why. Like, it just felt like that for me.
Yeah, there was a show that I was watching on Netflix for a minute, called Designated Survivor,
Okay.
where the basically the president, the vice president, everybody in the Senate and the House, there was like this massive assassination attempt on the Capitol, and they blew the Capitol up, and there was only one person that survived, and that they call them the designated survivor, so that they pick basically the person that they need to be at the Capitol the least, like
Mm.
the loser of the group, and they'll say,
The
yeah,
loser.
you're the designated survivor. So if anything happens and they kill all of us, then you'll be the president. So basically the least likely person that would actually be the president. Well, so this guy ends up getting this thing. There's this bomb that takes place, and bombing that takes place kills everybody. And all of a sudden he's been, Secret Service is telling him, hey, you're the designated survivor. But there's all this drama, there's this conspiracy. They even in that one, they go into this right-wing conspiracy thing where they have like all these right-wing people like that have a missile silo over in North Dakota all planned, and they have all these bombs and all this money. So and it was just like, you try to watch that, and that's supposed to be entertainment, and then you see real life where there's a lot of craziness, and you're
Yeah.
just like, what's going to happen next? None of this makes sense. What's going on? Can somebody, you know yeah, it was just really crazy. It was just really crazy.
Man, I just know back in the days, I never would have thought that just politics in general were going to be like a huge thing in my life growing up as the more and more I got older. But here we find ourselves just like, fuck, dude. Like, it's literally one of the things it's hard to not pay attention to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that big tech, um, the mainstream media, they all have, and politics in general, they all have a lot to do with this. They are the reason why we are so divided. The media, because the media, they used to report the real news, now they just report opinion, and that's very hard for people, because when people are looking for hardcore facts, and this happened to Trump. There was this weird, like, they were talking about it. It was called, it was the, when they tried to impeach him with the Russian stuff, he didn't do anything. And then when they took him to the impeachment and they put all the evidence out there, and then they had what's called the Steele dossier. This guy is named Steele. He basically didn't have real evidence at all, and they used fake evidence against our president. And how this guy is not in prison is beyond me. I don't know how that can happen. But I mean, this whole it was weird. And I've always looked at Trump as some sort of a JFK, because I'm like, he has something, or he stands for something, or there's some reason why these people hate him, because everybody in Washington, it's not just Democrats. In the news, it gets reported that it's just Democrats that hate him, but Republicans hate him too. And the CIA hates him, the intelligence hates him, and Chuck Schumer would throw jokes at him saying, hey, there's one group of people you don't want to piss off, and that's the Intelligence Committee. I'm like, why? What is that a threat? So it's weird. And this is where this is why I say all the time that America is the new Rome, is because if you're so corrupt that you can tell the sitting president that, hey, you better be careful about messing with me, because I'll just sick the intelligence, I'll just sick the CIA and the FBI on you. And then then all of a sudden they come up with impeachment charges, not once, but twice. I mean, even this latest impeachment, I'm looking at it going, good luck. He didn't incite shit. Read or listen to the speech, and you'll see that it was just anger on a lot of parts. And there were a lot of provocateurs that were in the midst in that crowd that day. But it wasn't because the president said storm the Capitol. He never said anything. That was your media opinion people telling you that. But and so where that sort of segues into was this social media. Twitter and Facebook are probably not open, not in front of you, but they're probably just crying themselves to sleep. Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, because I think in 2 days they lost 10%, and I think it was like $541 million loss in 2 days.
Holy
Because
moly.
because for one, it started when they canceled their president. They tried to deperson him, cancel him, and they took him off of all those platforms, right? Well, so then they said there's a video of Jack Dorsey saying it's not just the president, we're going after everyone that basically supported the president. So they went and they started banning a ton of people on Twitter, kicking a lot of people off of Twitter, kicking a lot of people off Facebook, Instagram, whatever the main social media. So then what that's caused is a lot of other people to decide, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm at home here. All of my friends are banned. So I'm going to find the next big place. So then everybody started migrating to Parler. And now I was joking last week. I'm like, I don't know where I got this information. I don't know how I knew that Parler was still up, because that last week when we were recording, it was still up.
Yeah.
Because my Parler page was still up. And what I liked Parler. Parler was really cool, because it was just like, and like you were here and I was showing you another alternative social media thing I was on. I think it was Gab. And I was showing you what I was showing. Like, there was no right-wing, crazy, conspiracy, racist stuff. Did you see any of that on what I was showing you?
For me, you showed me no.
I was showing you all the memes. Right. So that's what it is. And so all these people are saying all these things, and they're just getting kicked off. They're getting banned. And so they're finding new homes, such as Parler, Gab. Well, Gab has been taken off of, and this was years ago, Apple and Google Play. They were taken off of those platforms. Well, now they took Parler off. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, because they used to just tell you, well, if you want a place to say whatever you want to say, start your own app. They always used to say that. Facebook and Twitter would say that. And so then all of a sudden, people took them at their word. Okay, well, fine, we'll make our own app. So John Mates, I think that's the CEO of Parler, he made Parler, and all of a sudden they kicked his thing off the platform, his app off the platform, off of Apple and Google. And then not just that, but then all of a sudden AWS, Amazon Web Services, all of a sudden they decided they weren't going to be the web provider for that company anymore. And they said that the whole reason was because they weren't monitoring all of the extremism going on, that people were like, they were treating Parler as if they were coordinating the whole DC riot because of their app, when the FBI and everybody investigating has find out it was actually Parler, or it was actually Facebook and Twitter, that where the people who were planning violence were using, and yet they're still on both the clouds. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Parler is suing Amazon, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I want people to know that when they see this stuff, like when we talk, it's what's unfortunate about doing an episode once a week is, and with the news cycle basically living by the minute, what I say now can go stale one day from now. And that's how crazy this stuff is. That's how fast we're moving. But we try our best to, keep everything, we give you up to the minute information that
That's
we
true,
have.
man, because anything can change like in the snap of a finger, boop, like just like that. So I mean, yeah,
Like
it's just how it is. It's kind of like when like I said, I told you about part of how they were going to get it removed, and then like after we got off air, you checked in like, oh shit, it is.
It's real. Yeah,
It's
I was
real.
like, and of course my friends, I told all my friends, like, hey, get on Signal. And then all of my friends, we all got on Signal. You got on Signal, a couple of other friends, and so we coordinate through there. And then and all of a sudden the Signal went down this week, because apparently, what they say that they had
Some crazy number though. It's like in the millions of people try to join.
yeah, I'm trying to find it. Shoot. I have all these things I
As
try to.
Brett's looking for the numbers and the facts, I just want to say again for everybody, they've been tuning in. We definitely saw the numbers for December of last year in 2020, one of our biggest months yet. And shout out to all you who are listening and watching. We appreciate it very much.
Yes.
We're very humbled, and we will definitely keep on continue bringing you just some good stuff, to talk about, and definitely, just engage with.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need Brett Otto podcast, like, in the Google search, like where they look up my
Oh yeah,
name,
they should put.
they have
Yeah,
the blog,
definitely.
they have all the other stuff. Yeah. How about throw some podcasts behind there,
Yeah,
folks?
do that, people. Do that for us. We would be
And if
appreciative of that.
what would really help us too, like if you guys are on social media and you guys are some that are not banned, and you have an episode that you want to share, we would be humbled if you would share this on your platforms, and no matter where you're at. If you're on Gab, you're on Parler, and Parler's not there anymore, but hopefully it'll be back. Facebook, Twitter, we don't care. Like, we are there for everyone. We don't pick sides. That's why you see Eddie and I here, we chop it up. We come from two different perspectives, and we know you guys come from different perspectives as well. So we don't hate on anybody, but that's the whole thing. But yeah, Signal message app crashes after massive number of new users, tens of millions new users just this week.
That's wild. That is crazy. I mean,
Yes.
you think about, they definitely, like you said, man, this is just kind of the big scare. The theory behind this is like where they feel like big tech is going to be the ultimate freedom of speech killer. And that's going to be it for everybody, regardless if you're, obviously from whatever side, it's just going to kill everything. And that's it. And it's going to be,
yeah. Think of all the words that you can't say anymore that, we could say in high school.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a huge change, definitely. And I always said this with you. I think I brought it up with you. Like, there's certain things we would say, but not in a way where we were like taking jabs at anybody or anyone's beliefs or nothing like that. Nothing to that extreme. It was just a matter of saying a word to represent like just an act or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Times have changed for sure, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, well, definitely we will have a we will get this episode rolling for you guys, and next week we will come, I'm sure, with another jam-packed episode. Of course, by then we may or may not have a new president. Let's just say we will, and then it doesn't
God.
happen, and
Yeah.
there's still some crazy things, and
Do
we'll
we
talk
have
about
a
that too. We'll talk
do,
about whatever happens.
do we have a Brett Sturdamus kind of theory? Because you haven't done one of those in a while, and like you're most of the times where you would think of where you would kind of give a guess, you end up being right. I mean, I'm just a witness. You always end up saying something and it fucking happens, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, you foretold the future.
No, I I think honestly it's gonna be like, I remember Trump posting a picture of his inauguration, and he was talking about how the photos were doctored, and they may or may not have been, I don't know, but he was trying to say that it was even bigger than Obama's and in 2008, and they were showing Obama's, and it was just clearly just full, right? The
Yeah.
Washington Monument was just full of people, and in Trump's, it just wasn't. It didn't appear to be as full, but he was saying that what had happened is they took that picture before the party even started, yada yada yada. Well, I just want to see what Biden's inauguration is going to look like. Like it's going to be no one except for troops, because now that they've been given the action to use lethal force, who even wants to be there? Who even wants to be there?
I think a lot of people, honestly, on the real side of things, they're probably going to be a little like, um, on the alert side to think that maybe something's going to go down just because there's so much tension in the air. There's just a lot of obviously, mistrust, and people will be probably worried about going, you know what I'm saying? And I don't blame them, man, because you never know. It could be that one person, whatever side you're on, don't matter, is there to cause some bullshit. See what I'm saying? So
I'm,
one
that's
bad apple
not
spoils the rest, and that's where it goes, dude.
my right wing friends. That's not the general feeling I get from any of them. Like
Mhm.
it's just peace. It's a lot of them are just really confused why all of a sudden this country is turning on them, like why they would, they've always been the ones to support the troops there, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden the country is saying that it's okay to use lethal force on because of this whole insurrection thing.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of confusion, right? They're just like, whatever, but we're not going to participate in anything. Everyone, as far as I know, is staying home. There's nothing. I think it's going to be a nothing burger. But
Nothing burger.
honestly, like when if you would have asked me that on January 6th, I wouldn't have been able to predict a riot took place because I didn't know there were so many agitators in the crowd. I didn't know, you know, if anything, I would have. I was just waiting for Pence to kick it back to the states to say, hey, there I don't see enough evidence to say that this thing was illegal or wasn't. I don't know, but with all of the states having as much confusion as there is, and with a lot of um, voting laws that changed and rules and processes that changed, even without it, just went straight to the governor, and they bypassed the legislative branch in their states. That's what I was waiting for, was for Pence to kick it back and say, I'm going to let the states figure this out before we take this back. If the states come back and they say they want to do a trial, go to court, that's fine. And they're going to they're going to certify it for now, but then take it to court and find out. Because what if we do find out there's massive fraud?
Mhm.
Then what does that do? Then does Trump get the presidency back? I mean, what does that do if this thing goes to court and they find out? Now, a lot of people are going to say, no, that's never going to happen. It may not happen, but what if? I mean, there's so many people fighting for this. There's so many people in Georgia, especially in Arizona. There's stuff they're looking at things. It's weird. This is the weirdest stuff that I've seen. This election is going to be one for the books, and I think we're going to talk about it for a long time. And I hope they get it fixed by 2022 when we start looking at our Congress. So
I think overall, man, 2020 is going to be a year for the
2023.
books, and we will talk about just the craziness that unfolded that year, man. I really honestly feel that one's going to be cemented forever. Literally, we'll talk about that when me and you on our fucking yachts enjoying life, you know, pouring it up.
As foreign nationals from a different country, you know, 'cause America doesn't exist anymore. Oh, remember that country, America? Those guys were weird.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's land this jet. Again, thank you for sticking with us, and definitely will be. Obviously, this is going to be another year for us to definitely deliver the best of the best. So, again, thank you for everybody listening. Thank you again for everybody watching the YouTube videos. And this is the Tip Touch Podcast signing out. We'll catch you in the next one. Everybody have an awesome day. Till then, we're out.